That's great. That's great.
Hey everybody, what's going on? This is episode 19 of the Tell Me Something Great podcast. This is your host, Justin Yates, and welcome back once again. Thank you for tuning in. We're getting close to the end of season 1, and I can't express enough how happy I am that you guys have stuck with me throughout this entire first season. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. We're going to do a little recap, probably episode 23, which I think will be the last episode of this season. But let's just jump right into it. So, on today's episode, it's going to be a little bit different. There's probably going to be a lot of ums and a lot of dead pauses. There's the first one. I have been slacking really hard on pretty much everything in my life other than working out, and it's because depression has just sidelined me to a whole new level, and I can't cope with things daily more than I usually can't cope with things, and it's becoming alarming and scary. I can't sleep well at night anymore. I'm having reoccurring nightmares, which I've had reoccurring nightmares with a lot of different topics over the years, but recently it's kind of the same stuff, which is either like losing the girl and having to fight for her in a way that's unwinnable, or packing my stuff in the midst of an argument. And I've been doing a bunch of research on these dreams and trying to figure out what the hell they mean. And I have some ideas. I think it all reflects my current situation where I'm living right now, but I don't know. And I haven't been working on anything. Like I said, I've just been sidelined. I've been working out and really trying to focus on my diet, as I've been mentioning the past couple episodes, and just trying to really just get over this damn hurdle. And I feel like my body's finally tapping into its muscle memory, and I'm feeling good, but I'm still behind the hurdle. No significant weight loss. I just feel like I'm like starting to tone things up. I don't know, it's weird. But yeah, I haven't rehearsed in a while. I haven't been able to focus on anything, and it really sucks. And today is Monday, November 29th, and this is supposed to be out tomorrow. So I just have a feeling that I'm not going to have enough time to edit this the way that I would want to. So there's probably going to be some pauses and weird ums and things like that throughout the podcast, but I wanted to get it out on the day that I promised I would, and that's the plan. So I'm kind of putting one foot in front of the other today and just doing what I need to do. And I don't feel like I'm mentally connected with it, but I'm going to try my best. And I thought it's important to start off this podcast talking about this because I feel throughout season 1, I've tried to be honest and open about things that are going on throughout this process leading up to what I'm doing in Chicago. And as well as honest as I can be about my mental state, but I just don't feel like I'm expressing myself in the best way that I can. And I feel like maybe if I had another person on here helping to stimulate me to speak about certain things, it would help. I don't know. My mind's just all over the place lately. I'm trying to get you guys to understand that so you can kind of understand what goes on around here, but it's hard to articulate. It's hard to put into words. I mentioned before that I have a huge list of issues and problems, and the one that's affecting me the most right now, I believe, is depression. And I've been clinically diagnosed with, quote, extreme, quote, depression a long time ago. And it's pretty much a clinical disorder, a chemical deficiency that I have. And I've been on and off medication for it my whole life. But recently it's just, I'm on medication now, as you guys should know if you've listened to every episode of the podcast. And it just seems like it's not working. I don't know. So what have I done this week? That's the real question. And today's Monday. So today we're going to do a little bit of work as we are doing the podcast. And first and foremost on the to-do list, as well as the update list for you guys, is phase one of the merchandising portion of this new music is 100% complete. The guy that I'm working with, we got pretty close with things a couple weeks ago, but we've had some back and forth, and it looks like we may still have some back and forth. I need to look at things once they arrive here. But based on what I've received this week and everything that I'm kind of checking out, it seems like phase one is totally done, and I'm just needing to pay it off and get it shipped to me, check it out, and move on to the packaging portion of things, which I'm going to send this message now. Hey, how was your weekend? Updates on the package? Let me know, yo. So, I mentioned on the last podcast that I'm just kind of shocked that every little plan that I've done for this music has actually happened so far. And to see phase one of the merchandising done is really exciting. Really, really exciting, because this was an idea that I just kind of threw out there. I really wanted to do it, but I didn't know if it was possible. I've been trying to work on it for a while, and it looks like things are actually progressing, and this is great. The packaging portion of things is going to be a little challenging, and that's because I'm needing a little bit of help with the design portion of things, but that's on hold until January. So I might have to find another designer to help. I'm not too sure. But this leads me to the constant problem that I've been having, and I wanted to ask you guys again just to get some more feedback on the subject. But how are you listening to music lately? How do you support musicians that you like? The merchandising portion of this music is going to be a huge part of it, and how the music is distributed will go with this merchandising. But I'm still on the fence, and I don't need to pull the cord yet, but when it comes to packaging, I need to put this into consideration. So I need to think about this stuff way before the music's even complete. I'm pretty sold on either doing a CD jacket with like a downloadable card on there, or something of the sort, so that people can get the digital versions as well. I'm thinking about possibly doing a USB drive with everything I've done so far, and then everything that I want to do with this new music all on the USB drive, or some sort of download card. Because the merchandising is such a huge portion of how this music is going to be distributed, it's important for me to have some sort of physical something for the music. I think that it will help not only sell the merchandising side of everything, but I think it'll make for a nice package that people will really enjoy. And I know I've been talking about that for a while, and that's about all I have to say about it. Sadly, I'm not going to tell you guys what this is on the podcast. You're just going to have to stay tuned as things progress. This one, it still has a lot of moving parts to it, and if anything I've mentioned so far piques your interest, all I have to say is just stay tuned, because this is going to be really awesome. Yeah, I should probably mention this first. How was your Thanksgiving? Did you have a good holiday? Did you get nice and fat? Did you eat like a fat king? I hope so. I ate pretty good. I tried to stay on my diet as much as I could and tried to not eat too much, though I think I might have had one extra biscuit. I hope you guys got to spend some time with your family and your loved ones this holiday season. It's been kind of weird for family get-togethers and holidays over the past 2 years now, right? Hopefully, you made the most of it this year, and again, got really fat. What else is new? The collection page is going really well. I've been picking up a bunch of vintage shirts. I've been really diving into that lately, and I don't know why. I think it's 13, 14-year-old Justin that wants to acquire all the things he used to have and all the things he wanted to. But the collection page is going well. I've been trying to save money, so I'm trying to do a lot of sales on there and trades, and trying to have it support itself, kind of self-fund itself, and it's been doing okay. I've got like 20 shirts for sale on there right now, so I'll put a link in the page, and if you're into any kind of retro stuff or vintage stuff, check it out. For the past couple weeks, every Tuesday night, I've been doing a live stream on the collection page with a guy I met named Kyle, who runs a few different Instagram pages. He goes by Retro Express Thrift, and Retro Express threads. I'm not sure which one. I'll look it up and I'll put the links in the description below. Kyle's a pretty cool dude that I met via collecting. It seems like we have a bunch of common interests and we do a lot of the same stuff. So I asked him if he wanted to get together for like a weekly live event for us to just kind of nerd out, talk to our followers, make a couple sales, just talk about the stuff we've done this week, things like that. And it's actually been pretty fun. Last week we had a couple sales, we did a couple giveaways. The week before we did some giveaways also, and it's just been really chill and laid back and really no expectations or anything. It's just us kind of having fun and hanging out. So if you're a giant nerd and you like collecting or just like going down that nostalgia time warp, tune in. Again, I'll put the link in the description below, but we usually do it Tuesday nights. I think that might change. We're trying to find a way that it works with everyone's schedule and we can still put the East Coast into consideration, but right now we're doing it late Tuesday nights, which I think is a little bit too late for the East Coast. So right now it's usually 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Tuesdays, but that may change. So just keep posted with what I got going on, and I will definitely let you guys know if that time does change. And if you come and hang out and you heard this plug from the podcast, let me know, and I'll give you a special shout out or something fun on the show. We'll make an event out of it. One really cool thing that happened this week that really lifted my spirits was receiving more than a handful of merchandise orders for the fundraiser sale. I've actually sold out of the Zombie Monkey black shirts in extra large, which is really cool. I don't think I'm going to be restocking those soon because I want them to be kind of a limited fundraiser type thing. But with the launch of the new music, we're probably going to do a new t-shirt. So look forward to that. But this week has been really cool. I received a bunch of merch orders, which is extremely helpful. And I just want to say thank you guys so much. I know that I do things a little bit different than the modern musician. And because I burden everything on my shoulders, a t-shirt sale, a share online, a follow, a sub, all this stuff helps tremendously. And I could make an entire podcast episode just about my appreciation for that and why it's so important. But I'll just leave it with saying thank you to those who did purchase some merch this week, and a special thank you to those who sent me some pictures for the website. I got some fans to send me pictures either with themselves or their family, or some funny pics to add to the website, and it really brightened my day. I received a bunch of these on Thanksgiving, and I really needed that kind of push because I do things differently, because of who I am, because of where I am, because of my age, because of so many different things. I lose sight of a lot of what's going on, and sometimes I forget that anyone's even listening. And because I'm a small fish in a big sea, I feel that that's the case a lot of the time. And when I see some orders come in and I see these pictures of people wearing the merchandise and happy to support what's going on and thrilled with the quality of the merchandise, and it's really great. And it gives me some pep in my step. I think it's an awesome thing to receive that. I really do. It fills my heart with joy, and it makes me know that I'm not alone on a lot of these battles. And I know it goes straight to the ego, and I got to be careful with those things. But it's nice to receive every once in a while and to know that people are looking out and they care and they're interested. I worked out this morning, and I still got all this pre-workout in me, and I just feel like I'm going a million miles an hour right now. So this extra coffee's not helping. I just had a really good phone call with an old friend and somebody who is getting into the television and film industry. And I threw them an idea, and they want to help. And that phone call couldn't have gone better. That's great. I'm really excited. I can't tell you guys what the subject matter is. Oh, I can. It's for the music video with the props. I need some additional hands on deck, and she said that she's willing to help, and that is awesome. And I am excited. So thank you, mystery person, who I will eventually tell everyone who it is. I hope that everything we talked about today will go as planned. I'm having to do this podcast in chunks because I just had that phone call. And, the universe is funny. I know this is like the depression episode, and I'm trying to kind of knock off the funk today. But I just mentioned a couple minutes ago how it's so nice to, receive those messages lately and getting pics from fans and seeing some of the sales come in. Literally, as I was talking to you guys, I just received 2 more photos from a friend and a fan, and well, that just made my day. And I can't, it's just so funny. Sometimes I get in my head so damn much that I know I cause extra problems, and I can't express enough how awesome it is to get reminders to get out of my own head that things can be tough, but there's always reminders that things can be better, I don't know why I'm feeling so out of it right now. I don't know. So, in episode 15 of the Tell Me Something Great podcast, I mentioned that I've been wanting to do Justin shitty riffs again. And if you guys don't know what that is, I don't know why you're listening to this podcast, but I'm just kidding. For those that don't know, I used to have a MySpace page. In episode 15, I talk about this a little bit, but I'm thinking about going back to that. And I don't know if it's my recent depression. I don't know if it's my recent pursuit of vintage shirts and me listening to certain music, but I am really, really convinced that that is what I'm going to be working on next, even if it's just one song. I have an itch to want to do it. I've just been having an itch to want to play some metal. I've been having an itch to want to write something more aggressive. And I don't know if it's just what I'm feeling recently, or I want to do something different musically. I don't know what it is, but that's been on my mind a lot this week. Probably doesn't help that I'm listening to a lot of early Slipknot. Either way, I really think this is going to happen. And because of a few different reasons, without disclosing information, because I want to keep this all for the next solo podcast, basically there's some software that I'm going to need to get over here that is going to help with the current music, but I also think is going to allow me to kind of do some of this Justin shitty riff stuff with a little bit more ease and the ability to do it here from home again. I can't remember if I mentioned this or not, but I did talk to Dustin about doing remote mixing work for kind of Justin shitty riff stuff. And he said he would be down to do it, which is really awesome and helpful and could streamline a lot of things because I'm not an audio engineer. I'm barely a musician. I've worked in studios and I've done engineering work, but I did not go to school for it. There's a lot of things I don't know, a lot of stuff I'm doing naturally. I'm trusting my gut, trusting experience. I'm not pulling out the scientific reason on why certain decibels need to be certain ways and et cetera, but I digress. If Dustin can help with the mixing process, that'll actually help a lot because I do a lot of writing here, and if I just kind of manage how I'm writing so that I'm not just riffing, I'll be writing and recording, I think that I can actually do something with that. So we'll see. But I'm going to be honest, my current situation with my home life, I don't know what's happening, and it's fucking up my ability to be able to focus on anything. So I have a bunch of ideas and I'm working on a bunch of stuff, but I can't give it my full attention because my mind is elsewhere. But I can feel these ideas brewing, and that's how these things start. And I just need to stay focused and almost like hyper focused on these things, to be able to see them through, because the noise around me is just so big that it's it feels like it's crushing me at times. I can't put it into words. It's fucked up, guys. All right, so how many of you are impatient? I'm an addict. So instant gratification is something that I really enjoy, but I also understand how damaging it is. So being patient is hard for me. With this collecting thing, patience is the name of the game. And you might be thinking, like, why? Like, you have to be patient for something to go on sale. It's like, no, sometimes you need to be patient with looking for an item. Or you need to be patient with people. Let's just say that patience helps. Right now, I hope I'm not jinxing myself by talking about this, but I have been trying to work with someone to facilitate another sizable moral oral related trade. And I just need to be patient, and more patient and more patience. Patience is the name of the game. I've been talking with this gentleman for a while now, and again, I don't want to jinx myself, but if I can pull this off, this is going to be crazy, because this person, once I first contacted them, I didn't know who they were. But then once I found out who they were, it was baffling. And then I found out what they own, and I was even more like, what the hell? So, long story long, I'm just needing to be patient. This guy's communication is pretty limited, but he seems legitimate about what he wants to do. And the last time I spoke to him, he said, make me an American Dad offer. So I think I'm going to have to take a sizable hit to the American Dad collection, which is okay. Because if this goes through, what I'd be getting in return would not only it would just take the oral collection to a whole other level, which is weird because it's already at a whole other level. Like, how could it get any better, right? Let me just say, if I can be patient and work with this guy and things can go as planned, knock on wood, oh man, this is going to be good. So if I can't get this deal facilitated by episode 23, which I think will be the last episode of season 1, I'm going to do a follow-up video. So for anyone who's listening, you'll be able to find out what the what the trade is all about. And if it doesn't happen, maybe I'll make a video of me bitching and complaining about it too. I don't know. We'll see. But this is a big one, guys. This is a big one, let me tell you. Another interesting thing that happened this week that had to do with collecting is I came across a guy I found online. His Instagram handle is, I can't find it. Hold on. His Instagram handle is, it's them_bones, but it's THXM_bones. So I met this guy, Them Bones, a little bit ago, and he is not doing me any favors in regards to pursuing and collecting vintage new metal shirts. This guy has got a collection that is just amazing. Just, it is astounding. And he's got some Chicago local band shirts that I've never seen anyone own, which is nuts. And I've been doing some deals with him this week. Some of the highlights of that trade were a couple stained shirts, a non-point shirt that was like a sponsored Ernie Ball thing. I don't know. I'm trying to do research on that. What else do we get here? We got a Static X shirt, a Power Man 5000 long sleeve that is one of the most bonkers fucking, it is just such a bonkers print. But that was it. I've got to antagonize him more. He's got a From Zero shirt that I've got to get off him. Hopefully we can work out a deal soon. Did you guys like the episode last week? I really hope you did. And if you haven't had a chance to check it out, you definitely should. The episode special guest was Wendy Lee, who is, I mean, she is the biggest voice actor ever. It's shocking that I was able to touch base with her. Amazing as well. It was just really cool. She dropped a bunch of cool gems. It was interesting talking to her because her career is so vast, and she's such a sweet, nice person that throwing her some interesting questions about the industry and asking her some questions about her process and just really listening to what she had to say was really refreshing. And I hope you guys enjoyed the episode as much as I did. I hope you also enjoyed the little Outlaw Star translation gems in there and some of the other little goodies that we spoke about and some of the goodies she spoke about as well too. Outlaw Star fans, I told you guys at the beginning of this podcast I would be doing what I can to try to give back, and I hope that you guys have enjoyed the Steve interview and the Wendy interview. It was a real pleasure to be able to sit and talk to them about their time on a show that I cherish, and I know you guys cherish too. And what was great is that they had a fun time too. So hopefully in the future we'll be able to touch base with them again. I hope you guys really enjoyed the interview because it was great. Now is the time for some fan questions. Oh yeah. God, I love this jingle. Oh yeah. Edwin, thank you as always for making that beautiful jingle for us. It makes me smile every time I hear it. All right. We only got a couple questions this week. So I got this question because I posted about depression on Instagram. And someone says, how do you motivate yourself through the depression? And honestly, right now, I don't know how I'm doing it. I'm just pushing myself through it. My head hurts a lot. For years, music was definitely my medication, and it helped in every way possible. And it still does. I've just kind of lost sight of a few things, and I think it's because I'm in so much isolation here. It's hard. But for years, I would battle with antidepressants and I would self medicate for years. And I don't self medicate as much as I used to, but antidepressants definitely helped. Therapy definitely helps. Lately, I don't know what's helping. I think just staying goal oriented is helping me a lot. But this is a weird question because, for a lot of people, depression hits them in many different ways. And sometimes, just going for a walk or taking a little vacation or switching up a routine or breaking ties with that toxic relationship, these changes can really help people's state of mind. But as I mentioned earlier, I have clinical depression, and in some ways, no matter what I do, it's always there. It never really goes away. I feel lately, in like the past year on these antidepressants that I'm taking, it's easier to compartmentalize things and to understand things without getting so bombarded by, I guess you could say, like a mental fog. But even with the assistance of antidepressants and constantly focusing on mental health, I find that recently and just in general, it only helps to a degree. And I don't know, it's very hard to describe. I feel like there's a fucking demon in me or something. And no matter what I do, I'm just suppressing it until it comes out. Maybe I'm running from that. I don't know. But I think that the healthiest thing and the best thing that happened to my life and the thing that brought me the most joy is music. Creating brings me so much joy. Working with music in any capacity brings me a lot of joy, even when it's difficult. Sharing the music with people is amazing. When the music connects with somebody, it's even more amazing. And those cathartic I don't know how to word it, but those things are just so, I don't know, they're really amazing. And they hit me in a very interesting way. And I think that's why I pursued music, regardless of how much money I make. It's something that fills me with purpose and gives me it gives me a lot, and it's definitely helped me through so many bouts of depression. I don't think this is the best week to talk about depression because I feel weighed down by it. I feel like when my head's a little bit clear, it's easier to speak on these things. We got one other question here from a local musician who I'm going to keep his name off of this for a few reasons, but he asks, how do you choose one thing to pursue? I'm good at a lot of things: music, producing, virtual effects stuff, 3D art, etc. But how do I choose? In order to make it anywhere, you have to be good at one thing, not mediocre at seven. And that's interesting because I think there's some people out there who might disagree with you and say the exact opposite, that you need to be really good at seven things and not just good at one thing. And I think that the internet brings these modern Renaissance men right in front of you, where you see somebody being their own performer, producer, engineer, director, videographer, designer, choreographer, etc., etc. They do it all themselves. So it gets a little intimidating because you're like, I'm not that person. I can't do all that. It's difficult. There's only so many hours in a day, and I just get older and slower and fatter. All joking aside, I am also not your modern day Renaissance man for a number of reasons. I sometimes feel like I can barely do the one thing that I excel at, which is playing guitar and writing songs. And I have interest in a lot of other areas. I feel for you a lot, man, because I'm the same way. And I'm not your modern Renaissance man. I can't do all those things myself, even on my best day. And it's just because of, well, it's kind of like you said, like my work isn't, I haven't put the time in for all of those things for them to shine as much as some of the other stuff that I've done. Now, some people will say intertwining all of them and working on them all together, like doing your own 3D art stuff for your music or vice versa, whatever, is a good way to work on them all at once. But I also think that that could contribute to you burning out really quick. And in my experience, what helped me was being honest with myself about what I enjoyed doing, what I was good at doing, and what I needed to be practical about. For example, I've wanted to work in film my whole life. It's something that I've always fantasized about and in some ways have done some projects with it. But I knew that I couldn't do it by myself. I knew that I wouldn't have the right resources and it was going to be a big challenge. And I knew that I'd still be able to work on video, but I needed to kind of put it aside. And it didn't mean that I abandoned it or anything like that. I just had to put it to the side. And eventually I did get to a place where I was able to incorporate it into what I was doing. And that was awesome, and that might have been the only middle ground that I can do right now. But I think that's the key. You gotta do things in moderation and be honest with yourself. I've had a lot of different benchmarks in my career where I've had to give up certain things and sell certain things to be able to fund other projects. Having certain hobbies or pursuits that I've had to put on hold because I just financially can't afford to do it all. I need to put my time into what brings home money, honestly. It's not even a want, it's more of a thing of survival. I used to love playing video games. I loved it. And I got to a point where I just sold all of it because I knew it was so time consuming and I knew that I wanted to play music. No matter how much I liked it, I knew that I liked music more. So I sold it and put the money towards music. I think what you can do is a number of different things. Now, for me, I need to hyper focus on certain things, and that's the only way I can get stuff done. And sometimes some good comes out of it. There's a lot of different approaches you can take when you're good at what you do. I mean, you could open a production house and offer those services and do all those services for multiple people, including yourself. Have it offer producing visual effects, 3D art, stuff like that. Like I said before, you could create the music and then do all this videography for the music. There's a lot of different things you can do. You could put some stuff on the side and focus on one thing for a while, focus on something else. I think what you should think about is what you enjoy doing and then be practical with yourself. Like, are you trying to do these things to build a career off of? Are you doing these things solely for money? Are you doing this to express yourself? Like, why? You know, why is a big reason and a huge motivating factor. And I think if you can be honest with yourself about this stuff, I think it'll help you push aside the stuff that you would like to pursue and have you focus on the stuff that you need to pursue, the stuff that is filling you with whatever the why is, you know? I hope that makes sense. This is definitely a very complex question, and there's so many different ways of approaching it because each individual is different. This is one thing that always makes me go back to wanting to get a psychology degree and work with like band therapy or make a management company and work directly with artists because each individual is different and each pursuit is different. Their whys and their wants can be a complete 180 from the musician, even in their own project. It's crazy. So this is something that I could speak on for a while. For the musician who did send this in, hopefully this is something to think about. But I also want you to contact me directly so we can talk about this more and more. Because the more that I understand about you, the more that I understand about your background, your goals, you know, the who, what, where, when, and why, I think that I can mold my answer around those things to help you hyper focus maybe more on, you know, some of those things that you'd like to do versus what you need to do, or maybe just finding ways to be able to work on them so that you don't feel that they're mediocre, but that you can keep a bunch of different fires, you know, burning and not neglect any of them. My mind's bouncing all over the place and I don't want to keep rambling. But even with all this being said, guys, I'm staying focused as much as I can. I'm staying diligent. I know where I'm lacking and I know what needs work. And every day I'm trying to refocus myself and just stay diligent and dedicated to what is going on. And the wheels are moving. Dustin has been flying around the country buying amplifiers and all kinds of crazy stuff right now, but he's on his way back and pre-production will start very soon here. So I'm beyond excited. Despite how I feel, I just need to knock off the funk, you know what I mean? I appreciate you guys listening as always. Next week's guest, there's no way in hell I'm going to tell you who it is because it is our last special guest interview before our Dustin Bennett interview. And I have saved one of the best for last. And let's just say 15-year-old Justin is losing his mind about this next interview. And I hope you guys enjoy it because, you know, I keep saying this and I can't lie. I just, you know, I'm happy about all these interviews and I'm so blessed that I've been able to work with some of these people. But the progression of how these interviews have been set up with the podcast throughout season 1 has definitely been climbing and climbing and climbing. Next week is going to be amazing. So I really hope you guys tune in. As always, go out and make it great. I'm doing the best that I can today, and that's the best you can ask for yourself, right? So I'm going to go out and I'm going to find something great today. I'm going to tell you guys what it is the next time I touch base. But I want you to do the same. I want you to go out, make today great, find something awesome. There's a lot of beauty in this world. And sometimes we can forget about it, even myself. And I'm going to go out. I'm going to make today great. You better believe it. Guys, next time I talk to you, we're going to talk on episode 21. And I think the entire episode is going to be talking about the music. And I'm finally going to spill the beans on what exactly it is I'm working on, who I'm working with, just how all this has kind of come together. And stay tuned because, man, I cannot wait to tell you guys about this. I've been building up, and it's time to finally, pull back the curtain. So get pumped. Tell me something great. Leave me an email. The email is thetellmesomethingreatpodcast@gmail.com. Like I said, we've got 2 more solo episodes before the end of season 1, so be a part of the show. Send me a question. You got a topic, suggestion, something like that? Send it on over. Hey, if you did something great this week, send that on over too. I love you guys very much. Thank you as always for listening. Have a wonderful week. Bye, 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 bye.
That's great.